out of some few kilns, there will be a pot that stands out to their maker. They may not be the most perfect, and in the end, who knows why they or anyone finds certain things to their liking. It is often just an undefinable "I liked it" at the time. Regardless of the reason, the true test of a pot is its likability over time and use. What we will do today is look at some of the pots that my grandfather made, set aside, and kept. They come from different times, different places, different kilns, clays, and glazes. These are the archives.
I'm a student of Frederick Carlton Ball, and I studied pottery at his studio in Tacoma, Washington for 2 years in the late 1970s. Carlton was a professor emeritus and was a very generous person with me. Took meticulous time to teach me how to make pots, and for a long time we made quite different pots. He was more of an art potter, and I always wanted to be just a plain and functional potter, and I always liked those pots. I considered myself that a potter who would make pots for someone like my grandmother, who would use them in her kitchen. I never aspired to be anything other than just the potter for a community, for a family, for someone who would use them in plain ways, in plain homes. The first pot is a simple bowl. This is a bowl that is glazed with a yellow slip. It has 3 blue dots in it. It is extremely plain, but it appealed to me. It has a bowl that seems to lift off of the table. I am very fond of making bowls. I consider myself primarily a maker of bowls, and this is the one that came out of the last kiln before it was destroyed in a tornado. This second bowl also came from the last kiln. It is a spodumene glaze, and for some reason it on this particular clay turned orange. It has nice little turquoise dots in it. It too lifts from the table. It's a generous serving of soup or a bowl to hold mashed potatoes or turnip greens for a dinner. It has all of the qualities that I like. Nice tight curves here, lifts off of the table. The foot to me is nicely cut. This is a bowl that I made when I lived in Austin, Texas. A person by the name of Kid Adams generously gave me a job making bowls for the Empty Bowl Project in Austin. And since we're on the verge of starving to death, I was appreciative for Kid Adams. And since she paid me by the bowl, my habit was to make 50 bowls in the morning and trim 50 bowls from the day before. This is one of the bowls that I made, and while I was there making bowls for Kid Adams, I made something over 1,000 bowls, and this is, of those 1,000, this is the only one that I kept. It's made from a Texas clay called blackjack. I don't think that they mine or have this clay anymore, but it is a wonderful clay, and over a period of lifetime, it has been my favorite clay to use. Once I made the bowl, the studio assistants took it. This one has inscribed on the bottom of it, Empty Bowl Project. I didn't put that there, nor did I glaze or fire this bowl, but I felt like the glazing and the firing was good. And of the 1,000 bowls, this is the one that I kept from my time at Clayways in Austin. This next bowl is one that is made from Grollig kaolin. It was fired when I had a studio in downtown. And once again, of all the copper red bowls that I made, I really like this one. It has a side that is cranberry in color, but the other side that seemed to get a little hotter went orange, and on the interior of the bowl, it has almost an orange hare's fur that runs down. This bowl got hot enough that the glaze left the rim and started a run for the foot, but it is, in my opinion, sits nicely on the table, welcomes its food, and is a beautiful bowl, and it's something that we use at Christmas time. This is my Dr. Seuss vase. I kept it because it is 1 fish, 2 fish, 3 fish. It is thrown, a little bit of decoration, but the decoration is fish. After it was thrown, it was expanded to its square and then paddled after it was leather hard. The square goes all the way to the foot. It's ash glazed. It too came when I was working downtown from the kiln there. This little square vase came from my last kiln, the tornado kiln. It is porcelainous stoneware. By this time, it's still an ash glaze pot. I was getting a little better in formulating my ash glazes, although they are still extraordinarily simple, with only 3 ingredients in them. And living in the country, we have birds everywhere, plants. To my mind, these are some of the plants, flowers that we have here on the little piece of rural property that we have in the middle of nowhere, Alabama. It is squared. As you can see, it's quite a white firing clay. And it is ash glaze. Some of them pick up this gold highlight, and I really like the gold highlight on this ash glazed pot. I like this pot because of its size, and I also like the tension in its curve and the smallness of its neck. It is a pot that has fish rising as though they were trout in a stream. I would consider the trout rising, or these fish rising, for the bugs that are on the surface of the water, and this particular pot has 2 little dragonflies up above the surface of my decoration for the water. It is a simple pot holding irises, long-stemmed irises, and it is a white stoneware, but in this last kiln it fired quite nicely, and it's a pot that I like. This pot came out of my last kiln. It was in a part of the kiln that oxidized. It is the same clay, same ash glaze as the previous pot, but it is quite whiter than the other one because it oxidized rather than reduced. I liked it because the decoration stands out nicely on this pot. These are my birds coming in for a landing. Maybe a hummingbird on some flowering plants, and just generally a pot that appeals to me also because it has a nice tight curve. The foot is well trimmed to me, and it has a neck well formed, thick enough to withstand the use of everyday work around the home of holding flowers. This is a little pot made from a domestic porcelain, same decoration as my previous one. On all things porcelain, the decoration shows up better than on stoneware. Stoneware is more warm and inviting. Porcelain is a little colder, but it also has its own particular charm. These are birds in a cobalt blue. The same types of decoration as the previous one. And like I said before, in the country, we are surrounded by plants and birds and critters. This is a small copper red vase that I kept from the last kiln. I make copper reds only once a year. I usually fire only one kiln load, and that's sometime around November. Just to brighten everyone's Christmas. This one I kept because it has a nice flow of glaze on it. It has little curtains of glaze. As this vase might have gotten a little hotter than the others, it began to pool around the foot of the vase. It is made from an English porcelain called graulig. On one side, it is a cranberry, and on the other, it's more orange. This is probably the hot face. It has streaks of orange in it. It breaks nicely around the rim. And while it's a little bright, it is a nice piece for Christmas time. This is my salad bowl for a family, or my pasta bowl for a family. This one is a little wonky, but I think the glaze on it is nice and warm and inviting and would hold quite well a large salad or a big bowl of pasta. It's asking a lot of this clay to spread out this far. It's quite a small foot. When you see the bowl in profile, it lifts itself off of the table well. The curves are nicely formed, and it is a pot that I think would be pleasing in use over a long period of time. Decoration is minimal.